Potato, potato, omega, omega. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Xaereth Prevails. Today I want to talk about Omega and how she makes Bad Batch substantially better by being on the team. People have been barraging me with questions about this team. They want to know if Omega is good or not. They've been also barraging me with negativity about her, about how worthless she is, how she doesn't belong on the team, that she doesn't actually make the team better. There's also content creators, my fellow content creators, who people are going to accuse me of throwing shade at, and there's zero shade, for the record, zero shade, especially the two guys we're going to be discussing the most. Zero shade. They've helped my channel more than almost anyone else has. So, I mean, and beyond that, I respect them as content creators. They know what they're doing, but I do disagree with their take on Omega. And so before we, yeah, people are going to accuse me of that, but before we actually get going, I do want to just point out in the video description, there's a video on Cubs fan Han's channel that he has a bunch of content creators that come on the show with him, and they discuss the whole year. They're reviewing the year, and it's cool. Like, a ton of my friends are on there, and you know, they get on the subject of Omega. So go to the timestamp of 1 hour, 2 minutes and 40 seconds or thereabouts, and they start talking about Omega and how she's a terrible kit design and how she's mostly just worthless. Like, they admit that she might make the team better, she might be ideal, but you shouldn't actually put gear on her because of free-to-play considerations, etc., that she can be replaced by any number of other characters. And we're gonna look at some of that. And like I said, no shade, but I do want to discuss this more because this isn't just my fellow content creators. This is the community at large. People have been arguing so much that you only need 4, or you can replace Omega with Barriss or with Cody or with Shaak Ti. We're going to look at the data because I don't think that the data actually backs any of these claims up. I don't think that. I mean, if you can't afford to gear Omega, I get that too. Like, Bad Batch is still a good team, but I do think that she makes the team substantially better. She is not just a cancer that makes the team worse. So we're going to look at all of that. I'll show you some gameplay. I'm going to show you her kit and how it interacts with the team to make it way better right off the bat. And then I'll show you data at the end. So before we jump into all of this, just want to remind you to hit that like or, you know, make a comment or whatever. If you want to support the channel for free, all you got to do is do something like that. So we're trying to mount the algorithm as a group. It's been a really cool thing. This channel's been blowing up like crazy. We're almost at 10K. Didn't quite get it by the new year, but I can't believe it. We are just totally off the hook right now, and I really appreciate it. Please just keep hitting those buttons. I would really appreciate it. So let's go first to talk about her kit, shall we? Let's go to the game. You know, go watch that video first, though. It's like a 4-minute clip, and then come back here. Get back here. Let's go. EA Sports. We're in the game. Madness. All right, guys. Here, so we're not actually going to look at Omega's kit, ironically. So, I mean, she assists when they do specials. Yay, that's what she does. And I think that's the thing that people get stuck on, is that she on her own, just her kit alone, doesn't do that much. And I mean, she assists when they do specials. They do specials all the time. She does a huge amount of damage, but beyond the damage that she does, because you can maybe replace that, maybe you don't need it, there are two really important factors to having Omega as the 5th character. Okay, so, and they both have to do with Wrecker, in fact. So here's Rika, isn't that what people want to say that she says? So, okay, so he gains extra health and protection for each Bad Batch ally. So she does make him a little more strong, but that's not really the reason. He's one of the best tanks in the game, and an extra 20% max health and protection is very nice. But other than that, he gains 1 stack of Fury for each clone trooper and Bad Batch ally. So he gains 1 for each a character basically there. So he gains 2 for each character. So if you have a full 5-man Bad Batch team, he gains 10. Once he gets to 10, then he gains Furious. When he becomes Furious, so he becomes Furious for 2 turns, which I'll show you guys in just a minute when I show you how the team works. So when he gains Furious, which is at the start of the turn, he gains Taunt for 1 turn. So that means that Omega creates a pre-taunt for Bad Batch, essentially. Like the Wrecker becomes a pre-taunt, but only if he has 5 Bad Batch. So that's nice, right? So you gain taunt at the start of the turn. You're pre-taunt now, which is, I mean, is very nice. The other one, and this one just can't be overstated, guys. He inflicts stun on all enemies for 2 turns when he's Furious. So if you do it right, you make him the right speed, you get all the modding right, and you guys can go check out my faction essentials for Bad Batch. You can see how I mod them, see how the turn order works and everything. That is a video that you can search for, you know, just in the playlist for faction essentials. But you inflict stun on all enemies for 2 turns, and this is also incredibly important, as you will see in a little bit. He also has a pretty high base potency, so you don't even have to put extra potency on him. And so he's got 80 potency, and then Hunter gives him more, and then he gets even more from Tech eventually. So anyways, that's why the kit, that's why he's good. The 2 specific reasons that Omega is good is because she makes Wrecker into an actual Wrecker. He becomes a pre-taunt, and he immediately can, when on his first turn, he does an AoE 2-turn stun at high potency. Those 2 things are amazing, and Omega unlocks that. So let's go see some actual game footage of that in action and why this is so relevant today specifically. Let's go. So this happened to me, actually. This was in my most recent GAC match, but you can find footage of this a lot of places. I'll show you some data to show that I'm not the first person to come up with this at all. But this is important, of course. So look first. This is at the start of the battle. You can see Wrecker on the top left. He has a taunt. He's the pre-taunt because of Omega, and he also has he has the Furious thing, right? So that's nice. And also, look, this is a Qui-Gon Jinn team with Ki-Adi-Mundi and Anakin, Jedi Knight Anakin, and the idea is if we kill Qui-Gon Jinn and Anakin is free to do what he wants, then Anakin is going to take a bonus turn, and he's going to kill your whole family. He's just going to do an AoE at like 800% his normal offense and just delete your entire team. That's how it works. So then you have to 2-shot a team like this. And so, I mean, but because of Wrecker being here, we don't necessarily have to worry about that. So you start off with Echo. He has to go first. Ki-Adi-Mundi actually goes first, in fact. He hits Wrecker. We're okay. We survived, thank goodness. But now we're going to have Echo go. It doesn't matter. I'm just chatting, apparently. This is like just raw from my stream. So he dispels everyone. Everyone gets dazed. Now, that doesn't stop Anakin from getting a bonus turn, but I did dispel everything, so all of these all the clones have gained enough turn meter that Tech can go. He can stun everyone here. So Anakin's stunned. Now we're going to go, so we have Wrecker. Wrecker's going to do the 2-turn stun. And this is also important because you need to do this move anyways, because it gives everyone defense up, which unlocks your true damage ability under Hunter lead. So everyone's 2-turn stunned right now. Now we have to kill Qui-Gon Jinn. Everyone has healing immunity, so once Qui-Gon dies, and usually the Jedi are supposed to all go back up to full 100% health and protection, but they all have healing immunity, and so all you have to do, you can see, so Kenobi has chosen to taunt. That's fine, because we can melt the team regardless. We hand the turn back to Echo, and now we still need to kill Qui-Gon, so no one's going to die until Qui-Gon's gone. So Qui-Gon's dead, and everyone else is dead. You can see Anakin took 2 real quick turns there. And so he's unstunned now. He took a couple really quick turns because everyone's health kept being reduced and everything, and so he got to that point, and people died. So he took a couple quick turns, But now it's too late, and now the team's gone, and it's 65 banners. And if you hadn't been able to turn stun with Wrecker, then you wouldn't have been able to contain Anakin, and you would have been deleted. So, I mean, throw Shock T in there if you would like. That doesn't work here. You can kill Qui-Gon, that's no issue. You need to also kill the rest of the team, and you get a 65 against a really good team that has a ton of really high-end Jedi, including General Kenobi, Ki-Adi-Mundi, and Jedi Knight Anakin. So let me show you some statistics, though. If this wasn't enough, I want to show you some stats that I pulled. Hopefully you don't think that they're cherry-picking, but we will see. We'll see what you guys think. I did my very best to be as even as possible, but you never know. You can never quite tell. So, here we go, folks. We've got Bad Batch versus a really common General Grievous team, which is Grievous and Newt. And so this is the original 4, the one that everyone says is always going to win. This is pulled from swgoh.gg. You can do your own research, and there are a ton of different teams and Grievous variants. Bad Batch doesn't counter all of them super well, honestly, but the comps with Omega do better than all of them. So this one is just the one that I found the most examples with the most total data behind it. So there's over 1,000 instances of a 4-man Bad Batch team taking on a Grievous team with Newt. It's an 80% win rate. Now, a Bad Batch team with Barriss attached to it, which is one of the characters that Arnold listed as being like a valid replacement. That's an 83% win rate. If you add Cody instead of Barriss as the 4th, then it goes up to an 88% win rate, which is pretty decent. You add Shock T, and you're a 94.5% win rate, which is good. And then if you have Omega there, it's a 95%. So really, like, almost no difference between Shock T and Omega in this case, though in this case, Omega can't be used elsewhere, frankly. Like, as much as I like Omega, she works with Bad Batch and only Bad Batch. Shock T works with all the other with the Jedi Galactic Legends to kill other Galactic Legends. She even works with Imperial Troopers to kill Lord Vader, as everyone likes to remind me, even though we have a video about that as well. So anyways, we've got this. So look, I just want to underline, guys, this is the argument that I hear the most, and this is not something that Cubs or Arnold necessarily said, but this is something that I hear all the time. You don't need Omega, you just need the 4. Don't bring anyone else, just bring the 4. Here it is, 80%. We use Omega, 95%. That's a difference between you can lose 1/5 of the time, like 20% of the time, or you can just basically never lose. I mean, sometimes you lose, but I think, the 95% is probably also with a few pretty dumb people using that. Like, you can correct it to close to 100%. I don't know. Make sure that you have the right gear on them and the right modding, etc. But I mean, this can't be overstated. 80% versus 95%. That is an enormous difference in how consistent they are. You can never fail. You can fail 2 times if you do it 2 2.25 times if you do it every single match of GAC. Now, other counters that you will see. Now, this is low sample size, so I don't really know. I just thought it was interesting, so I copy-pasted it. I acknowledge, and people are going to also they're going to be like, man, why did you choose this one? This was horrible. I'm telling you now, though, out loud, because this is a video and you guys can actually listen with the sound, we have, this isn't a great sample size, but this was interesting. So Bad Batch counters Maul with Bando here. That's the thing that's the key. 60% of the time. That's okay. That's not great. Only 5. Sample size is small. But then we have 81% win rate with Omega, and we've done it 16 times, so neither of them are great sample sizes, but I just thought that was interesting. And then the one that's way more relevant here, and I thought this was funny, so against Qui-Gon, this is the one variant that I could find 3 different examples of with a big enough sample size to actually show up on the website. You're free to find any other Qui-Gon, but so the Qui-Gon team with Anakin, Barriss, etc., with Ki-Adi-Mundi, with Cody, you win 47% of the time, 47.6. And then it actually gets better if you take him off and just take 4 of them. It goes up to 57.1. So it was 47. It goes up 10%. And granted, this isn't a huge sample size either, but big enough that we can actually start drawing conclusions. And then if you add Omega to that, you go up to 71.2. Now, granted, none of these are amazing. For being able to, like, the percentage that this is apparently Bad Batch struggle a little bit against this particular Qui-Gon variant. So, I mean, whatever. But I did just think, so a lot of Cody was by far the biggest fifth, and I get it. He's the guy you have to unlock. He's an unlock character, so you need him at what, Relic 5, something like that. So he's already built. He's not bad. I mean, in this case, he is bad compared to nothing. But for the most part, Cody is better than nothing. And but Omega, again, like, look at the comparison here. 71.2 versus 47. Like, 47, 71. That's substantial to me. In my opinion, it is. And so, I don't know. What conclusions should you draw? I mean, these other characters, it's like, okay, so Shaak Ti is fine. She probably would do just fine as the fifth every time, is my guess. She's great, but she can be used elsewhere. She is really good in a lot of places. Like, you need her. You need her elsewhere, especially with Qui-Gon out there stealing really good Jedi. You don't need another team stealing really good Jedi. We have Qui-Gon teams, Jedi Revan teams, Jedi Master Kenobi, Jedi Master Luke, Jedi Knight Luke. All of these characters would really love Jedi to lead to glory, and then Bad Batch are like, actually, we're going to take one of the best ones, one of the ones that counters the very best versions of these big galactic legends, and we're just going to use them to, like, counter Grievous, I guess. Like, I don't know. Using Shaak Ti, in my opinion, is not a good argument. I mean, it's fine if you can spare her, that's fine, but Omega is substantially better, guys. I hope that this helps. I would love to hear your arguments. Honestly, respectful arguments. Please let me know what your thoughts are. Again, zero shade to Arnold or to Cubs. Huge respect to them. I don't really agree that she is just a luxury. I mean, I wouldn't want to use the Bad Batch team without her, because she does so much for the team. And not just to make record good, she does add damage to it and everything as well. You guys can notice that as well. But, watch the Faction Essentials video, go watch some of my other stuff. This team is really good. It's way better with Omega, in my opinion. Prove me wrong. I would love to hear it. Guys, thank you so much for watching. And remember that in all things, Xaereth prevails.